don't think it's... Oh, it is crooked. It's crooked the other way than what I thought it was. Alright. I gotta do something about the sun. What did I do last time?
I think you put a blanket over it.
What fucking blanket?
Oh, no.
What did I do? Oh, I fixed it. I'm like, what did I do with the blanket that we used last time? That be it? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have our own lights.
Let me take my shoes off. Oh yeah, the laptops are creating some really good like front lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, we're gonna turn it.
do you have your drink?
Yes, it's down here.
Okay. All right. Well,
Welcome back.
You didn't list all of them. Anyway, welcome to another podcast. Today we're doing an interesting topic on serial killers.
Which, by the way, took me, what, like 4 hours?
5 hours of her doing research. I didn't do anything. We have the same document on two separate computers.
It looks like a essay.
Yeah, kind of.
It looks like a research paper.
It looks like a table of contents that is just spread out.
I do my research very thoroughly.
What I do want to glance over is there's no guarantee we get to everybody in this podcast, but
if not, we do a part 2.
We do have files for Ted Bundy,
Charles Manson, and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Those are the 3 that you did research on.
I knew more information on the last one than anything.
So,
because of the movies that were made. Which, by the way, really surprised me about how many films are made about these motherfuckers.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer. There's a lot
There's
on
a
Jeffrey
lot.
Dahmer.
Like, there's a bunch of documentations on it. There's a bunch of, like, just movies.
Well, you gotta think, we have the Netflix series, Dahmer. And then there's also the Dahmer Files.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, is there a movie about that?
Yeah, there's one on Hulu that's just Dahmer. Or no, My Friend is Dahmer.
And that's a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 different things.
Because it has Ross Lynch in it as Dahmer.
Yeah.
Which is scary how, when they were casting these people, like, they got it to a T. Like,
that is true.
Like, I don't know if any of you have watched, like, the series on Netflix for Dahmer, but, like, if you look up a picture of him, it is, like, identical.
It is crazy.
But also doesn't help, but, like, probably a bunch of cosmetics, too.
Yeah.
Like, no Photoshop or anything, like, that's how it was.
But we'll get to Dahmer later in the podcast, so I'll try to put like an overlay timeline if you want to hear about specific killers of where in the video we touch base.
Mm-hmm.
But starting with Ted Bundy. So, do you want to read the facts about Bundy? Do you want me to?
Do you want me to do the timeline?
I'll do the timeline because you can probably explain other stuff a little better.
Yeah.
So we have for timeline, we have 1946. Ted Bundy was born in Vermont.
They never gave me a specific town. That's why it's just Vermont.
1974, he begins his murder spree in Washington. The state of Washington.
See, I identified.
Clarify that.
I clarified that. Schmutz.
1977, he escapes prison twice and kills more victims. That I didn't know that about Bundy, actually.
I didn't either. They never showed that in anything.
1978, Bundy attacks sorority house and kills 2 more women. And then 1989, Bundy is executed by the electrical chair in Florida.
Which is crazy to think that he was only 43 when he died.
That is kind of crazy.
So, like, he didn't even live half of his lifespan yet.
But how many lives did he take? Did you put that in here? On, like, how many he actually...
I don't think I put...
No, you don't have a total...
I can look that up quick.
I mean, he definitely killed a little bit.
It was somewhere around 30 people.
Because, like, so he begins his murder spree. There's no number. But he escapes prison twice and kills more victims. So there's definitely a decent amount. And then there's 2 confirmed right here.
30 murders committed.
30.
In 7 states between 1974 and 1978.
So in 4 years, he killed how 30
people. 30 women specifically.
30 women.
Because so each serial killer has their preferences.
Yes.
Bundy had his preference for college women specifically.
Yeah.
Except for a 12-year-old. Somehow that got mixed up.
Somehow a
12-year-old got in there. I don't know how.
The 12-year-old could have just been at the wrong place at the wrong time and...
Or he
no
just...
witnesses
yeah,
type of situation.
Pretty much it. Gotta sip the coffee for this shit.
Hell yeah. I didn't get coffee.
Yeah, you got your energy punch.
I don't know if y'all have ever had it. They don't even have it displayed on the menu anymore.
Certain Dunkins they do.
But no, I don't think at ours they have it displayed anymore. And if it is, it's like hidden, like at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's just a Rockstar and blue raspberry flavor.
Mm-hmm. You could make that at home.
Mm-hmm.
You could make it at home and save a bunch of money.
Don't tempt me. I will buy an entire thing of blue raspberry flavor and some Rockstar.
Alright, let's get on to the facts. About Bundy.
I'll let you run wild with the facts.
So, Bundy was his own lawyer for his own trial. So, with that, he actually was going to law school for that. And at the time, he was not a licensed lawyer. Like, he didn't go through the bar exam or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He actually fired his own lawyers because he thought they were very incompetent. And they actually agreed with everybody that he should be in prison. They never specified if they thought he should be on death row or life, but he eventually just got on death row.
Rightfully so.
But they also said that he was very so Bundy said that his lawyers were very unfit for the job. As they were convinced that he was also guilty. So Bundy seemed to enjoy the attention and
the publicity.
Yeah, that it brought. It even gave him the thrill that he was fighting for his life in a trial for the death sentence. Which, at that point...
That's crazy that you would get a thrill. You would be like...
Well, you're the center of the attention for however long the trial was. Like, everyone would watch the trial because it was broadcasted. There were no live streams. There were no, like, you could watch it on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could watch it anywhere. Like, you could only watch it on the news. This is when they only had, like, 13 channels.
They only had 13.
Yeah. In the 70s, they only had 13 channels.
Yeah, no, I remember there was
one.
not a lot of channels. Even before that, there was, like, 4. So...
Mm-hmm. Like, my mom didn't even get her first TV until she was, like, 5.
I'm not sure, like,
yeah.
my mom and stuff, I have no idea.
But, going on, so Bundy actually fell in love during the trial. So...
Well, did he fall in love, or...
They both fell in love.
I was gonna say, you have here that a witness fell in love.
But, Bundy knew the witness. like years before all of this, because they worked in what did they work? I haven't worked in here.
Oh, that's an interesting way for you to ask somebody to marry you.
So let me read off what I have written. So a witness in one of Ted Bundy's trials fell in love with him, Carol Ann Boone, which
I read that as Boone.
no, it's Boone.
Am I just retarded?
Yeah, it's just Boone.
So are you telling me that Zach's gamer tag is not Boney? It's Boone.
I mean, it's different
it's-
pronunciation.
It's spelled the same way.
Ask him.
It's the same with Kyle. Kyle's gamer tag also has that at the end of it. And you're telling me that that's Boone, not Boney? I've been reading it as Boney for how many fucking months?
Let me go on. Was a witness to the trials. They met as co-workers in Washington State, but they developed feelings for each other during the trials. With that being said, Bundy asked Carol Ann to marry him while she was on the stand as a witness, and Bundy...
Yeah, pick the laptop up and just move it a little bit.
I'm just...
No. No,
Hold
it'll
on.
stay up there, but
Hold on, I'm adjusting.
You had it leaned. You didn't have it actually like centered up there. It's still a little leaned, but it should be alright.
It's fine.
She's trying to balance her laptop
on a tire.
on a GT radial off of the winning prospect car from round 2 of FD.
Yeah.
Round 1 of
Why am I
prospect.
getting a thing for Harbor Freight?
That's a good question because I didn't know.
Did you order something?
From Harbor Freight? Hell no. Can't trust those shits.
Yeah, that was wild. He actually asked her to marry him on the stand too, as she's testifying.
That's
illegal.
I don't think that's illegal per se. It's just
Interference with the trial. It's interference.
That's such an odd way to ask somebody to marry you.
It's like, hey, I'm about to go on death row. Do you want to marry me?
Hey, I'm about to die, but I don't want to die alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. She actually said yes too. That's the crazy part. That's
crazy.
It's fucked up.
That's
dude.
crazy.
It's fucked up.
That's wild.
And here's the even more fucked up part. She eventually had his daughter, over a year and a half later, before he got the chair.
Oh my god. So there's some little fucking Bundy running around.
Yeah.
Thanks for scrolling up because I forgot who we were talking about that I saw it.
Okay, here's the last one I have. And then the final victim of Ted Bundy was a 12-year-old girl on February 9th, 1978. Bundy kidnapped and murdered 12-year-old high school student.
She was a high school student at 12?
Birthdays, or she might have just been too smart for middle school.
That's true.
Because they still had that kind of program. Kimberly Leach. According to the witness, Bundy led her towards his car. Upon investigation, authorities recovered the girl's blood, clothing, and skin fiber from his van. This grisly murder eventually earned him the electric chair. So that was what got him in.
I wonder if because how old were all of the other people?
In their 20s.
So in their 20s.
They were adults. I think it was between the ages of 22 and 29. I want to say that was the age range was 22.
Okay, so it is definitely weird for him to go out of the path of what he was doing for someone.
He also just went for the more attractive women.
Yeah.
At the time.
So he could have been just that.
He's just a fucked up man.
So, I mean,
he's
I don't know.
just fucked up in the head. But you also gotta keep in mind that some of these killers had abusive backgrounds.
Abusive, manipulative.
Or they got molested.
Because, like, when we get to Jeffrey Dahmer,
God.
he wasn't necessarily abused.
He was just neglected.
He was neglected.
By both parents.
Yeah. And, like, verbally... verbal was the amount of abuse.
Yeah, he was verbally abused by his father.
But nothing was physical. Jesus Christ. What is going on with the door?
I don't know, I have it closed.
I know, but why is it shaking?
Okay, moving on.
Is my house getting ready to fall into the earth? I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Alright. Manson.
Charles Manson.
Oh god, I could go on about this man. I could go on about it.
Timeline facts, which is just gonna be my job, apparently.
Yeah.
Manson was born on November 12th, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio. He started the Manson family in 1967. He killed 9 people in the span of 2 years. Manson got arrested in 71. He was sentenced to life in 72. And then he died November 19th in 2017.
Yeah, he lived a long life.
He was in prison until 2017.
Yeah.
And never got death.
No.
Oh, no, he was on life. Sorry.
Because...
He was on life.
Because he technically didn't kill him.
Yeah, he technically didn't do the killing. He ordered
the
killing.
Like I said, I could go on about this one forever. So, in interviews, like I showed you the one interviews, he just kept saying, like, I didn't do any of the killings.
Yeah, that
like,
one was...
He kept, like, I found one that he actually said, like, I shouldn't be here. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But, here we go with the facts.
We go with the facts.
So, here's some intriguing facts that I thought were interesting. So, Manson subjected his brainwashed followers to horrific abuse and control. Manson recruited only the most vulnerable and basically
Why
naive.
are you using such big words?
At the time, I could fucking pronounce them. At the time.
Yeah, because you're pronouncing with your head.
Yeah.
Trying to actually say them is a different story. like... Credulous?
Basically, naive.
Credulous?
Basically, the most, like, naive people he could find.
The easily controllable people. The people
like
who
the
have
younger,
daddy issues.
younger people.
That, you know.
Or, like, hippie life. Like, people that just go with the flow of things.
That's very true. I think a lot of the people that he did have that were following him
were very just going with the flow. Like,
yeah.
don't care. Like, they ran away from their parents' house. When somehow found out about the Manson family and all that. Basically, and exercised a terrifying level of control over them. He convinced them that they were reincarnations of the original Christians, with himself as Christ. He was gone at that point. Like,
I didn't know that he went that far.
Yeah, it's messed up. And the authorities were the Romans who persecuted them the first time around. He forbade members from owning anything, including prescribed glasses. They were not allowed to have glasses.
And he also dosed them with LSD.
Yeah.
While he gave his lectures.
Oh my god, and...
So... One thing, I don't want to cut you off. I don't know if you touched on it. I'm trying to, like, really quickly skim through.
Mm.
Charles Manson, I believe, was the one who was trying to start a race war.
Yes, he is.
So his killings, he never, as you said, actually ever did the killings. But if I remember correctly, he was the one who, every Manson family was white. All of his followers were white. They would
racist.
target, their targets, the people that they murdered, were also white, but they would make it look like black people did it. Mm-hmm. Is what their goal was. They
basically
wanted to start a race war.
Yeah, they basically tried making it seem like the blacks were bad.
Yeah,
and like the blacks were the root of all evil. Mm-hmm. Which now that, like, the times now, like, obviously not, because we
Well,
have so much information on it now.
Back then, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like that was around the time when they were, like, the blacks were trying to, like, get their, like, freedom to do everything, like, no segregation, no this,
no sitting at the back of the bus,
Yeah.
no separate bathrooms.
So, it is, like, I'm gonna put it the way that, like, he's probably thinking in his head, it was the perfect time that if you made it look like black people were killing white people, you could start a
he was
race war.
also trying to start his own music career, too. Like, he has some songs, too.
I am a little intrigued to actually listen to them because he's such a fucked up person. I can only imagine what the music sounds like and what's even in it.
Basically, how do I put this the best way I can? So, you know how, like, back in, like, the 70s, how the music was just very, like, groovy? Like, just very, like, basically just background sound. Just imagine that, but on crack and on acid.
Okay.
Just imagine that.
It's a very interesting
way to put it.
I just think of screamo music now.
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda.
But, like, I don't know. It was weird. I listened to one of his songs. My mom showed me one of his songs, and it's just.
I'm gonna have to listen.
It's not good. It's not good, dude.
We don't recommend. I haven't listened to it yet, but I already don't recommend.
I don't recommend it. Going on. And dosed them with LSD while he gave his lectures on the future. He forced female members to have sex with each other and forage for food in bins, even after Manson's life sentence. One Manson family member was so brainwashed that they tried to assassinate President Gerald Ford.
Do you know what they were brainwashed about that they tried to assassinate?
Basically, from what I could gather, is that anything to keep Manson happy, all is good.
All is good.
All is good. Basically, that's how they were thinking.
Are these both mine?
Yes. Mine taste horrible.
Then go buy another one.
I will later.
Have you tried the root beer sundae one?
Yes.
This one's pretty fucking good. It's pretty banging. Oh god. You know, I gotta try that now. We're gonna take a short intermission. Time to thank our sponsors, which is none.
My dad for giving me daddy issues. And almost alcoholism.
You guys for supporting us. That's about it.
That's about it. My boyfriend for supporting me and all my bullshit.
Which I can't even say how many of you there are because we still haven't even uploaded the first one and we're on 5.
So here's a little, like, description of Manson. Charles Manson was an American criminal and musician who led a cult that committed 9 murders in 1969. What a good year.
What a great year.
What a great year that was. Let me tell you.
Shitty stuff going on, but a great year.
Yeah. He was convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder for deaths of 7 people, including the actress Sharon Tate and her unborn child.
Do they have any relation to...
Yes.
Do they actually?
So, the relation with, like, Manson and Sharon?
No, I was just talking about Sharon Tate and...
No.
What's his face?
No. No relation there. No relation there. Thank God.
That him is an entirely different topic for a different podcast.
Don't even get me started on him.
I don't even want to get started with him. We had the same viewpoint.
So there's actually a connection with Manson and Sharon Tate. So Sharon bought the house that originally was from, I guess, Charles' manager that was trying to get his music up and going.
Sorry.
And Never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Moved away because he was afraid of what Manson was going to do. I would as well. I would do the same thing as well.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
if you knew what was good.
Yeah. Basically killed everybody in the house. Everybody in the house, which was only like 3 people.
Was that the one that, so the interview you had me watch, was that the one where they asked like the question of like, did you go in, tie them up, and then leave before they were killed?
Yes.
So that was the one where he went in, tied him up, but then left, and then let the killing happen.
No, he didn't even tie him up. He didn't even go to the house. He instructed.
So it's just kind of like a theory that he went there.
It was a theory. They actually they did more like into it because at the time they could still do DNA swabbing. Mm-hmm. Like you just swab the rope, and if it comes up with his fingerprints.
We got to think it could still come up with his fingerprints. Even
it might have been his rope.
Even if he wasn't there,
it's still his rope.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was 8 months pregnant when she got killed. Wow. And they tried saving her and the baby. It just didn't.
Couldn't save either.
Couldn't save either. No, because what happened is that they stabbed her in the stomach first.
Oh, there goes the baby.
There goes the baby. They actually stabbed specifically where they knew the baby was going to be. They actually went through, and then they shot her in the head. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But this was going on with those reading. But this was changed to life, or he was sentenced to death at first. But that was changed to life in prison after California's Supreme Court invalidated all death sentences prior to 1972. He then died in 2017 at the age of 83.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I guess we're on to the one that we know a lot of information about. We're only at, like 28 minutes?
I know, we're in good time.
So, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer.
So the timeline on Jeffrey, if I can scroll. Hello? Can I?
Hello?
I think my phone refers. What? Ah! Alright, I got it. So, he was born May 21st, 1960 in Massachusetts. Massachusetts? Sorry, I quickly looked at does that say Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Like the tool?
Yeah.
Milwaukee?
That's where the tool's originally from. That's where they originally made them.
He got caught on July 22nd in 91. He got caught on July 92nd, 91. Oh, he was also
92nd?
He was also...
Do you want me to read it?
No, I'm trying to do the thing where I don't just stare at the laptop. I actually talk into the camera.
This one I could just start
July 22nd, 91. He was caught and arrested. I don't know why those are 2 different bullet points. And then he died in prison November 28th, 1994 from
He was killed in prison.
From impact from another inmate. Sorry. This is where we were getting where she was typing for a long time. So.
This is where my shit kind of gets a little fuzzy.
So it's gonna get a little funky.
It's gonna get a little.
We're on page 4 out of 5. So.
Well, also gotta remember this is a bigger text.
You have like page and a half, just almost 2 pages just on Dahmer.
When I tell you I had a time in my life that I just watched things on serial killers, I'm not lying.
Mainly Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know why he is like an interesting person to like do research about.
It's the way he did things.
It's the way he did things, and I think it's like the people that he killed. Like what happened when he would kill them.
Yeah. Like he was known as the Milwaukee Cannabis. or cannibal, not cannabis. I wish I had some cannabis. Like he was.
Milwaukee makes some good tools. If they got in the cannabis business,
Yo, sign me up.
But I think it was the fact that like he was gay, and he'd go out and he'd find other gay people, and like they'd like genuinely like hit it off, and he was great.
And then he drug them.
It was just like he knew his dad would be disappointed, like acceptance issue.
What he did that I found messed up is that after he was done killing them, essentially, is he would take pictures of them on a Polaroid.
I think I remember that because they
found a drawer full of Polaroids of all those victims.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least they know who all the victims are.
Oh yeah, it's listed. It's listed too. Like they have names and ages.
But we'll go to the timeline here of facts. But wanted to throw a couple things out there.
Yeah. So one thing that I know off the top of my head that Dahmer tried doing is that he.
A little too far.
It's fine. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, you also got mine.
Yeah. So after Dahmer was done killing them, he would try and bring them back to life.
I do remember that in the Netflix.
Like he would try and bring them back to life and basically create zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, he just wanted a companion. He just wanted somebody to lay with him at night.
That's why I said like it was a thing of like he knew what he wanted, but he still had that fear of like
that like he wasn't going to be accepted.
This was back at the time where like homosexuality
wasn't wrong.
Wasn't I don't want to say it was wrong because I think they were getting to the point
or it
where
just wasn't like fully.
But there was still a lot of like not accepting of that fact.
You know what I find funny? Lesbians were accepted, but gay men were not.
Well, that's because it's female.
Yeah,
so,
but gay men were not. I'm all about equality.
That's because that's a faggotry.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had the faggot pass. I'm gay.
So he actually failed to finish college. Like he had like a 1.2 GPA.
That is worse than my senior year in high school.
The first semester, by the way, because he'd never show up to class. He would never show up to class. Mm-hmm. And then his father actually forced him to join the army. And at the time, your parent can enlist you. Like, there was no ASVABs, there was no MEPS, nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, a parent signs you, go in, you go.
Fine.
Pretty much. His dad just wanted him gone.
I'm glad that we don't do that anymore.
Oh my god.
That's a little too much power.
He only lasted 2 years in the military. One, he got an honorable discharge. I don't know how the fuck he did that. I don't know how the fuck he got that. But he also got kicked out for his alcoholism. Yeah. Which he got from his dad.
I can't... Did he kill somebody before he went into the military?
Yes.
I think he did, that jogger.
Yeah, he killed the jogger.
And I think that was it. Mm-hmm. Before the military.
So when he went into the military, he went in for medic.
Oh, can we talk about, I don't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
When he killed the jogger.
Oh my god.
So I don't know how, I would assume the Netflix show is reflecting correctly. The only reason why he like knew what he was doing to get rid of the body and stuff is, didn't his dad and him used to like dissect
animals? Yes.
They would dissect things together.
Yes. So in the basement.
When he killed that guy, he basically did the same thing after he killed him.
Well,
and then
you learn from what you know.
Yeah.
You learn from what you know growing up.
The animals that they were doing on aren't necessarily like.
The animals were dead already.
A lot different than human when it comes to like the anatomy part of things.
The only things that are different is one, less bones.
Yeah.
Way less bones.
And like the placement, but like everything that's inside is.
Yeah, like Dahmer could have honestly gone off and be a vet.
Yeah. 100%.
Because like he would dissect cats, squirrels, think.
I knew his mom wasn't happy with
Oh,
even
God, no.
one of them doing it.
Mm-mm. So that's when they started doing it in the basement. And they would do it after either she would leave and go somewhere or she'd go to bed. Like, they would spend all night doing this shit.
Teach your son how to hide it, too, on top of it.
Yeah. Going on with what I was saying. So, when he was in the military, that's when it peaked his interest in drugging people. That's when it really just shot up.
Yeah, because when you were doing research and before you brought up about how, like, that's where he learned what the different drugs would do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. The one drug that he actually used on his victims, which basically just helps him sleep, is... Hold on, I got this.
I have it right
Halcyon.
here. Yeah.
Halcyon. It was his prescribed sleeping medications while working the graveyard shift, which is basically just an overnight shift, in the chocolate factory.
Oh.
I think he worked for, I don't know what brand of chocolate, but I know it was like a well-known brand at the time. I don't know. I'll ask my mom. She would know this better than I would, obviously.
Yeah.
The way he would do it, he would offer them drinks. Like, he would offer to make them, like, you know, like a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, even just a water. He would put the drug in the drink and then offer them. I think it was, like, not even 10 minutes they were drugged. Maybe, like, 30 minutes at most they were already drugged. And feeling the effect. But thing is, they have to finish the whole drink for it to take full effect.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Because he would...
That's when he would essentially kill them and then dismember them and then try and put them back together.
Yeah.
I think it was like within a time span of like 6 hours. Because I actually went to the library and did some more research because they had books on this shit. So here's the fucked up part. Ready? He would pour the drug into his victim's drink, and once asleep, he would start doing erotic activities, performing brain surgery, also with the hope of turning them into zombies. And after that, he is done, he would eat them.
Yeah.
That's where the cannibal comes in.
Well, even with that, so he would do more than that too, if I remember correctly. He would just lay with them too on occasion.
If he didn't feel like going the whole 9 yards.
Which, because I would assume you didn't touch base on it, all started with before the military, before the first murder, that mannequin that he stole.
Yeah, that's like the one thing I didn't put in there. Is that
because he stole a mannequin and he would lay with that, and then the one time he came home, I think, what was it, his grandmother
threw it away.
Threw it away.
And it was trash day, and
so it was gone
he
already.
Went ballistic.
Oh yeah, no.
He got very like violent, like throwing shit above his grandmother's head. You know, all this just because over a mannequin, because that is the one thing that he could fall asleep with at night that is his own. And
it's like a stuffed animal to him.
Eventually she actually did go out and get him another mannequin. Eventually.
Yeah.
This was like nowhere shown either. Like, I actually had to do some deep research for that. And after that, that's kind of when the killing started, because his grandmother kind of just sparked something in him.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can't have what I want. Now I'm going to go get what I want. So Dahmer actually killed 17 people that ranged from the ages of 14 being the youngest and 32 being the oldest. What is up with serial killers killing children?
Not only just children, but like it seems like 20s. 20s is a good time to like get targeted by a serial killer.
That's because people are finding out who they are as a person.
How wonderful. We're both in our 20s. Prime serial killer targets.
So Dahmer's youngest victim had no... So Dahmer actually had no idea how young he was. In his apartment, I don't know why I put the apartment number on there. Um, he would. Oh, this is when they finally like searched the apartment.
Yeah.
It was all male, obviously. What they found in his apartment was severed heads in the refrigerator. They also found a drawer full of Polaroids of the victims' dismembered bodies. They also found a full of acid that Dahmer would use to hide the bones, as well as decompose the bones as well too. While he was in prison, fans would send him mail and also money that added up to be a total of $12,000. That's how
especially for back then. That's crazy.
That's how much money people were sending him.
Hang on, give me a second. What year was this?
It's I want to say between 91 and 94.
What was it? 12,094 to current day. What would the equivalent of that be? At almost $25,000.
Yeah, what it would be today.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So that's wild to think about.
And then some fans would try and copy what he did to people, which started the copycat killers.
Yeah.
Dahmer is pretty much like the grandfather of copycat killers with cannibal.
Mm-hmm. Which, fun fact, because I don't think you put it on here. I know you told me, and I heard a couple other people. Was it him that said tattoos are disgusting?
Yeah, because you can taste the ink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's coming from somebody who is tattooed.
But Dahmer did not like eating people who had tattoos.
One of his almost victims that he tried to kill had a big chest tattoo.
Was that the last one? That actually?
No, this was before he started killing.
Oh, okay.
This was before he started. He did not know because of the way the shirt was, and the man just refused to take his shirt off. I mean, I would too if I was going home with a complete stranger.
Debatable. For me.
Well, for you, yeah.
Especially considering, like, I don't have titties, so, like, there's nothing, like, profound about taking my shirt off.
I'm gonna just
make it look like I don't have anything.
Yeah. But yeah, people also called Dahmer the Milwaukee Cannibal because they found out what he would do to his victims. Going on with that, no one knew that it was Dahmer because he actually moved several times. Like, I think it was like a span of like 10 times within like how long ago? So he started killing. I want to say he started killing in like late, like mid 80s.
Yeah.
I want to say that's when he started because they always start in their 20s for some reason. And he would move. I think they said he moved like I want to say 6 times because there was like a 9-year gap that he just wouldn't do anything because he was satisfied with himself.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
Yeah. So
which I think wasn't that literally right after he got out of the military?
Mm-hmm.
Was when he took the 9-year period and didn't kill it. So he killed the one
because he was working.
He killed the one jogger, went in the military, came out, didn't kill for 9 years, and then started.
And then that's when his spree started.
Yes.
That's when he killed the other 16.
Now that you mention it, I do remember that that's...
Yes. So, going on, This is when he went to court for his trial. He actually pleaded guilty to rape, murder, and dismemberment and cannibalism.
Well, there was no hiding it. Like, the evidence
No, but like he knew what he did.
was right there.
He knew what he did was wrong. I think it was just his mindset, thinking like he knew he was going to get caught eventually.
Mhm.
He knew that. He knew it was coming. He got caught because one of his victims got out.
Yes, I remember
It was
watching that.
It was a black man.
I
Actually.
remember watching that in the thing.
Oh God, what was his name? It was Casey something. Like the last name was Casey.
Yeah.
But here's how he died.
Oh God.
One of the inmates found out what Dahmer did and took a metal bar, like one of those thick metal bars.
Like one of the lifting.
Yeah,
like
one of the lifting
bars.
things, and to his head and killed him from the impact, and died that day, like straight down the center of the head, like cracked the head open. On November 28th, 1994.
I'm not surprised.
He was only in prison for 3 years. But cannibalism is just that's a no-go.
Cannibalism and child predators, no go in prison.
Yeah.
You will lose your life in prison, but either one
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm. Or murder, just straight up murder.
Well, usually like murder, they're not.
It depends on.
So
it depends on what kind of murder.
It depends. So basically, the easiest way to say it, anything, like if you do anything that harms a child anyway.
Oh, you're dead.
That nobody in prison, they don't give a shit if you murdered like a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, or
yeah.
like if you raped some female in her 20s.
Oh yeah.
But if you did anything to harm a child.
Basically, anything to harm a child or a woman.
Well, even women is sometimes.
It depends on what happens.
If frowned upon, yes. But like, are you like a massive target that they're gonna kill? No. The child thing though, oh yeah, no, they'll fuck your shit up for that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I could think of so many other killers. Like I could think of like the Mendez brothers.
We also have a couple like local killers, which we do want to touch base on.
But
like,
we'll do that in a
killers,
whole nother time.
Yeah, it's a different podcast, but we do have one that's actually in our town, and then 2 that are in towns that are actually related to each other, like not that far from here.
Yeah. So with the brothers, they actually killed their parents, and they were like millionaires too. They didn't kill them for the money.
But they killed them
because their father was molesting them.
Ooh.
Both of them.
What about the mother? What did she have to do with that? Unless she knew.
She knew what was going on. She didn't do anything to stop it.
Ooh. Okay.
So kind of one goes with the other.
Yeah.
And they're trying, like right now, I know they're trying to take them back to trial and try to get them off life. Try and lower their sentence.
Yeah. When were they convicted and how old were they?
They were, I think one was 18, the other one was like 20. Okay. They were young. They were like our age. Somewhere around our age.
When did they get convicted?
Oh, God.
Or like when did the murder take place? Or murders, sorry. Because like depending on it, like how old are they current day with this situation?
So, current right now, I think it's the younger brother. He is 55 right now. And then...
Is there like, if I'm being honest, is there really a point to get out at this?
Oh, and the other one is 52.
But is there really like a point to get out? Because like you gotta think, so everybody says when you go into jail, basically when you go in, like your concept of the outside world and like how things work stays in the year that you went in. So like when you come out, you still expect everything to like be the same as when you went in.
So they killed their parents on August 20th, 1989. That was the year my sister was born.
Wow.
Wow. It was basically, so they did the killing out of defense. Like, they were just defending themselves because, one, they were just done getting molested. They were just...
Which is surprising that the dad was doing it even, like, 18 and 20 yet. That's...
It's because his wife wouldn't put out.
But that's, like...
But, like, why your children?
But, like, that old is crazy to think about that you would still be doing it.
Yeah.
Because usually doesn't make it past, like, what, 12?
At one
10?
point, I know one of the brothers put something on there. And that's when he stopped doing it to the oldest. And that's when he started getting more aggressive with the younger one. Because... And he would always do it, like, after dinner, after lunch, whenever he could. The one thing that I do know about the brothers is that when they were home and they would be home alone, the mother would lock them in the closet.
Why? I mean, it explains why they took her out with him.
So she would lock them in the closet, and like, no way of going to the bathroom, no, like, I think they said they were in that closet for, I think the one time was like up to 16 hours. Yeah, it was like up to 16 hours they were in there at least the one time.
And it's sad that sometimes, like, you have a shitty situation, like, that's what you have to turn to. Like, they
and
did.
It's kind of cool now because the younger brother actually had a pen pal who he actually eventually married. Like, he's married currently.
From in prison?
Pen pals.
I didn't know that you could get married while in jail.
They have someone to officiate the wedding. They come to the prison. I think they get, like, an hour of, like, alone time. And then they do their business. Their business. And then that was that. For a while, they actually thought that they were gay because of their father. And they would cry over this too. Like, they would cry because they didn't want to be gay because of the connection to it.
Yeah.
And then they started dating women because they want to see what was out there before, they go to prison.
Yeah.
I
just wanted to lean this back.
But yeah, it was a very messed up case. Like, it was just straight defense. Like, they were defending themselves from their parents. They got sick of it. Like, they didn't go on a killing spree. They only killed them. They actually went to a basketball game, like, the next day. Fucking floor seating.
So how long did it take for them to actually, like, get caught after?
I want to say, like, 3 months. I want to say it was, like, 3 months.
That's actually a lot longer than what I would have expected. Because, like...
Well, the one brother, the guilt was just eating him alive. And called the cops and turned himself in.
So they would have went longer.
Yeah.
But
even, they turned themselves in for it.
Even 3 months is long, because, like, you gotta think, so a female not being out of the house, not necessarily strange, because back then they didn't really work. They were more housewife.
You also gotta think it's 89.
But, like, the dad, you gotta think, okay, so they were loaded, but, like, you gotta think he either did some form of work, whether he was managing a business or whatever.
I think his dad was a business owner, of a big company.
Someone should have noticed, like, hey, he hasn't been here.
Oh, they noticed. And they kept coming back to the house. Like, the police kept coming back to the house asking where the parents were. The kids Just kept saying they're on vacation. They're on an extended vacation.
True, which makes they're a wealthy family.
They're a wealthy family, so they can do that.
Yeah.
They can extend their vacations like that. I mean, I wish I had the money to freaking do that.
Bro, so do I. Even though I wouldn't be going on a lot of vacations, I'd have a lot of cars.
Yeah, I'd be going on vacations. Like, I'd be going to fucking Cancun.
I would be going to a lot of drift events.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, that's the one other case that I found interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I could think of, like, other serial killers that...
We do have other big name serial killers that we do want to touch base on in a it'll probably be like a part 2
yeah,
to this
we could
at
do
some
a part
point.
2 at some point.
And we also, as I said, do want to do like our local area
Oh,
killers.
I'm definitely gonna look that up. I'm not gonna go into such extent.
I mean, you can, because like I don't know so much about our local killers.
Well, it's
so
like
I'm
you
definitely gonna need
gotta
the
admit
notes.
this did help a little bit understanding like the cases of everything. Because like, you know, you could say a name, you could hear a million different things about what they did, but once you have like the concrete, like facts, it all connects.
But I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us blabber about serial killers. It's definitely a different topic from kind of what we normally do, because this one was more of like an informative one instead of us
just ranting,
expressing our opinion.
Yeah, this was more of like just very facts.
Yes.
Like,
so
there was no...
Feel free. We might not have touched base on.
Or that I might have gotten wrong.
Yeah. So if you tell us more information,
we'll gladly take it.
We'll probably pin it in the comment section, so that anybody else who goes down there, the first set of comments they see is just additional information that we didn't cover. But that's it.
That is it.
So, goodbye.
See you next week.
Hopefully. I mean, you will see us next week by the time we start posting these. But as for what day it's actually, then
who knows?
Nobody knows. It's May.
Bye.